Giants, whether they are towering apes, colossal robots, radioactive lizards, or ancient gods, are surprisingly very difficult to get right on the screen. And you would actually be shocked at how often filmmakers just completely miss this mark when making some kind of film or game or whatever it might be about giants. There are some very crucial elements that help sell the sheer scale of these giant creatures. And when they're ignored, the entire illusion that they're trying to build just crumbles apart. If you're into giant creature media like me, I promise that sounds like a weird fetish. It's not. It's not a weird fetish. But if you're into that kind of media as well, then you've probably felt this at some point. But let's be real for a second. If you're a fan of this type of genre, we've been eating good lately. From multiple Godzilla iterations, live action Transformers, Pacific Rim, Giant Man in the MCU, the Atom in the DCU, which is super specific to Black Adam, but it's still there, it still counts. There has been no shortage of giant-sized action over the past couple decades. I have been obsessed with this genre for years, and I've noticed the little things that separate a truly massive on-screen presence from just a big CGI ragdoll. So in this video, I thought, why not break down just some key elements that help translate a giant on the screen to the audience. Help convince the audience that, yeah, this thing is real, it's tangible, we can act like it could exist in our world as well. And this is such a specific topic, I'm well aware of it, but I love this stuff. Like I've said, I love the genre, and it's something that I just need to get off my chest. I've actually briefly talked about this topic back in my Godzilla video about a year ago, and same with my recent Transformers videos as well, but I've just touched on it just a teeny bit. I really want to make a full-length video dedicated to that, so that's what this is right here. The first key element I would like to discuss is weight. If a creature weighs thousands of tons, the world around it should feel it. The ground should shake, the air should rumble. You should hear and feel that presence through the screen. Sound design plays a huge role right here. A heavy footstep shouldn't just make a thud, it should resonate, echo, reverberate through the environment. Yeah, I'm whipping out big words today. Are you impressed? I am. Think about that iconic scene in Jurassic Park, the rippling cup of water as the T-Rex approaches. It's simple, it's subtle, and it's perfect. The sound, the trembling, the visible reaction of the environment, all telling you something massive is coming. Now, if you take that scene and compare it to the recent scene that's been memed all over the internet right now from Rebirth, 1 minute the T-Rex is sleeping, waking up, and then the big inflatable raft pops up, it knocks down a moment later, and the T-Rex vanished. It's just gone. Compare the buildup and the weight, once again, the weight of that first T-Rex in Jurassic Park showing up compared to that. Where did the Rebirth one go? What happened there? If they mess it up like that, they don't feel real. They don't feel tangible. They don't feel like they can actually exist with us. Without these environmental cues, the shaking, the echo, the debris, you lose that visceral sense of scale. The giant might as well be regular sized. And that's exactly what I was trying to get at with the Rebirth T-Rex. It's just gone. You don't hear it. It's too quick also to get away. It was in the process of standing up from a sleep, and then it's just gone as soon as the raft falls over. It's weird. I'm gonna get to movement speed actually right here, but it's just bizarre to me, and it just took me out of that film. The next key element actually goes pretty much hand in hand when it comes to weight, and that is movement speed. If something huge is moving around like a parkour expert, it breaks all the illusion. Giant creatures by nature should move slowly, not because they're clumsy, but because the physics demand it. They have mass, and a lot of it, just like your mom. Along with all of that mass comes momentum with every movement. Every step should be carrying weight. Godzilla 2014 absolutely nails this. The movements of both Godzilla and the Mutos are calculated, heavy, and grounded. When Godzilla stomps or turns, you feel the inertia. When he breathes or roars, it feels like a force of nature. Pacific Rim did this well too. The Jaegers don't move quickly, they move powerfully. One of my favorite moments is when a Jaeger uses a rocket boost mid-punch. It's brilliant, and a practical way to justify sudden speed without breaking realism. Then we get to Pacific Rim Uprising, and yeah, things kind of fall apart. The weight's gone, the Jaegers move like they're made of rubber, dodging and flipping way too fast. It looks cool at times, sure, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel as believable as the first Pacific Rim movie. And I mean, same goes for the MonsterVerse franchise right now. It started out with Godzilla 2014, perfect. The weight and the movement speed felt so good. They matched perfectly. And then now with Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, I love that movie, by the way. Don't hate me. It's fun. It's a fun ride. But the movement and the weight is just out the door. It doesn't exist anymore. And I can especially say that with the final fight between Scar King, Shimo, Godzilla, Kong, and I forget the little monkey's name. Whatever. But like, there are so many times in that scene where Godzilla, he smacks Scar King with his tail. That looks ridiculous. That does not resonate with the first film of the franchise whatsoever. And also, I know Scar King is a giant primate. He's not as bulky as Kong is either. He's a lot more lanky. So yeah, he's gonna move a little quicker, but not like this. It takes me out of the illusion. I remember when the first trailer dropped for Godzilla x Kong and people were complaining about Godzilla being ridden by Kong, but Kong's on the side like that. But the complaint was it just looked like too fast of movement, and immediately I agreed. It looks wonky, and it just, once again, just takes you out of the immersiveness. So yeah, compare something like the most recent Godzilla and Kong movie to Godzilla 2014 or even Kong Skull Island. It's pretty night and day. Speed and weight have to be matched well in order for the audience to fully embrace this idea and believe in these giant creatures. Last key element I would like to discuss, though, is perspective. And in my opinion, this is the most important key element when filming or creating any kind of giant creature. And once I thought about this and just really dove deep into it, I can't unsee it now from any kind of franchise or any kind of media where there is something that's larger than, the average human. That's make-believe. The easiest way to sell size is through perspective, specifically human perspective. We need to feel like we are there. We need to look up at these giants. Gareth Edwards understood this perfectly in Godzilla 2014. Nearly every single shot of Godzilla is from a grounded human viewpoint. Through a building window, from street level, or out of a helicopter door, it makes you feel like you are actually there, that you could actually exist alongside these human characters while all of this is happening. You don't just see Godzilla, you feel his presence as if you were standing right there, watching from a distance, hiding behind cover, or even peeking through glass. Even the more cinematic shots in the film stay grounded. You're never floating around in space for just no reason. The camera always feels anchored to something real. A room, a street, or even a cockpit. That's what gives the creatures tangibility. It feels like it actually exists in the world. I hate to constantly bring up Godzilla and the MonsterVerse, but you can't ignore it, especially with these movies. These titans are 300 plus feet tall. They weigh a ton, literally tons, actually. So you should be feeling the movement, you should be feeling the weight, you should be looking up at these giants, these titans, to really get the feel for everything. So yes, I'm gonna bring back one more time the more recent Godzilla movies. When you look at these movies now, the floating camera problem definitely is starting to show up. Suddenly, we're doing full 360 tracking shots around the titans mid-battle, flipping through the air, diving through rubble. It's cool and it's flashy, but it definitely kills the scale. The more godlike the camera becomes, the less godlike these creatures feel. That sounds biblical. Another franchise that gets this right, surprisingly, is Transformers. Michael Bay's 2007 Transformers movie has some incredible perspective work. You're always looking up at the Autobots and Decepticons, or watching them from inside a car or a crumbling building. It makes the whole thing feel grounded even when the action gets insane. As the series went on, they lost a bit of that, again, chasing spectacle over scale, but that original film is just too good. When you get a product that combines movement speed with weight with perspective, you get something very special. You don't just get a creature that looks big, you get a creature that feels big. I hated that. Why did I just do that? Without these elements, the giants might as well be the same size as a human, just with a bigger costume, essentially. You don't need constant human references or skyscrapers for scale, just sell the feeling through sound, motion, and grounded shots. Make us feel small. Make the viewers feel small. It's not just about watching things blow up. It's all about putting us in that universe there with them. I also want to add in one final thing, just talking about you don't necessarily need a human character there alongside of these giant creatures or transformers or whatever it might be to cause the scale situation. It definitely helps to have a human character there, something that we can visually see and understand how tall it is. Like when you see King Kong climbing on a building, you know how big that is. You can understand and grasp the size of King Kong. But then you go into Hollow Earth into those films and everything is giant. Everything is to scale to the Titans. It's hard to exchange and like switch your brain off and say, oh, these are still giant creatures. They look like they could be our size because size doesn't make sense now, but they're still giant creatures. And this goes for any kind of giant media. If you take the Transformers and put them on Cybertron, Cybertron is to scale to the Transformers. I still think you need to put them, give them the weight. Give them the speed that they deserve at that scale. Get them the sound design, all of it. I think that is so important for us, the viewer, to still believe that they're still massive. Once again, in Hollow Earth, when King Kong grabs onto Godzilla to ride him, it looks like you don't know how big they are. If you didn't know anything about the franchise, you'd think, oh, they're the size of a person. They're the size of the lizard in The Amazing Spider-Man. Like, it's tough to get right, but it is possible, and I think it's overlooked a lot of the time, and it's just not appreciated as much. That's really why I want to talk about Godzilla 2014 so gosh darn much. I love that movie. They did everything perfectly. It's beautiful. It is a great movie. Same with Transformers 2007. Even Revenge of the Fallen did a great job with perspective and scale and all that. The Transformers, the action, all the stakes feel tangible and real. Maybe I just poisoned all of your brains. Now when you watch a movie with something giant in it, all you're gonna think about are those things. But hey, I mean, I feel like I'm doing a good job there. I need to call more attention to this stuff, man. It's underappreciated, and I appreciate those who take the time to actually put little extra care into that department. I love the giant genre, and I want to see more, and I really want them to make me be pulled into the story more, and that making them feel the scale is such a simple and easy thing to do. But with all that being said, please let me know down below what your thoughts are on the matter. Are you a fan of the more recent MonsterVerse movies, even Transformers movies, or even Pacific Rim, as they are getting faster and more cartoonish? Or do you want them to go back to the giant scale again, where you feel everything? I would love for them to go back to like kind of the first movies and all the franchises. That whole vibe, that whole environment, perfection. Still a big fan of these movies. I will go see them opening night every day because it's just a good time. It's just a good time all the time. Please leave a like below if you enjoyed today's video, and also consider subscribing if you enjoy the rest of the content on my channel. And I will see you all in the next video. Goodbye.